it over to Christine.
Well, hello, everyone. Let me say this, that I got it, the recording. Thank you, Holly. Thank you, all of you for attending. I know it's early. I'm not going to have a PowerPoint. I only have, about 17 minutes with you this morning. So I'm going to hit on three important tactics for your engagement strategy, right? This could go on. We could spend a whole day on talking about this, but I'm going to hit on three of them. And it doesn't matter who your target audience, that's one of the things. Who's your target audience for your webinar? Who do you want to engage, right? Putting on a webinar takes work. So that's a whole conversation we could have another time about the ROI that you're getting on that, the return on investment of your time and resources for doing that. But right now, how are you going to engage them? Right, that's going to be our focus. And here we're talking about learners, to engage learners, but everything I'm going to talk about with you today, it doesn't matter who your target audience is. So most important thing, know your target audience: learners, funders, grantors, teachers, employers, who elected officials. Who do you want to attend your webinar? And because you need to focus in on that target audience, because your messaging has to be directly for them. And that takes us to value proposition. A value proposition is a benefit. Everything that you do, it's not a program or a service, it's you're delivering benefits, right? In the work that you do in your everyday lives and your everyday professional roles. You're delivering benefits. So if someone is going to attend your webinar, the way you engage them is by giving them a benefit. What are they going to get out of it if they attend? Is this going to improve their lives? Is this going to, depending on your target audience, right? You got to think about your benefit on your target audience. And that will increase your enrollment. The other thing you need to think about, and the third thing, because of our time limit, is a call to action. Every interaction that you have with a target audience has to have a call to action. What do you want them to do? Click on this. Are you inviting them to something so they need to, do this? Do you want them to learn more? Do you want them to call you? What is it that you want to do? And I'd love for you, if you're available, to put into the chat, what's your call to action? And share peer-to-peer learning here. What's your call to action? Keeping your target audience in mind. But here are two things about call to actions. One, when you, whatever that communication might be, that messaging, be it via email or text or on your website, across all your touch points, one-on-one, when you're presenting, whatever that might be, only one call to action per interaction. That's a rhyme. Because if you would take our certification course, you'll see why rhymes are so important in our conversation. But one call to action with every interaction. You don't want to confuse, someone. For example, attend this, click here to attend this, and then register here. Right? That's two calls to action. That could be confusing to the audience. So also, I have a lot of data, but I'm not going to bore you with all that. I do want to talk to you about the best days to promote, right? What are the best days of the week to promote and the best times to have your webinar? So before I go there, Holly, what you got going on in the chat? Anything?
Nothing. I have crickets.
That's okay. That's okay. Anyone can come on also. If you want to unmute yourself and talk with me, that's fabulous. Would love it. All right. Best day to promote is on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. However, Tuesday does beat everything else by just a little bit of percentage points there. But those are the dates. Best time to have a webinar is between 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Those are the best times to have a webinar. And then something important to keep in mind. Let's say you get a whole bunch of registrations for your webinar, right? That's a great thing. Don't get disappointed if you get less attendees, right? So you're getting, all these people RSVP, but only 25 showed up. Don't worry about that. You know what you're going to do with those 25. It's the other 25, right? Since there were 50 that RSVP, the other 25, they were interested. They were interested. Something that you said in your call to action, in your invite, in your touch point, one-to-one or one-to-many, doesn't matter. There was an interest. Something piqued their interest, right? So you need to not put those aside. You need to also work with them. So I'm going to stop there because Holly just came on with her hand up.
Yes. So I just wanted to let you know, Gino has put a call to action in the chat.
Right.
He says, we can watch all of this from the bleachers as this historic moment goes by, or we can enter the arena and change the game for thousands of our students. We can and should position our staffs and students now for this change. Together, we can plan for implementation and train your staff.
Okay, all of that is beautifully said, Gina. Beautifully said, beautifully done. But remember, don't shoot the messenger here, because this is what I do. We specialize in engagement here at Business U. And that is, what's the benefit for doing all of that, for entering the arena? And when we talk about change or transformation, what are they going to get out of it? Because remember, this is about recruiting somehow, right? This is about knowing your target audience and engaging them in something. They need to know what's on the other end. So a call to action always has to have that follows, what's in it for me? What am I going to get if I do this, right? So, for me, I'll get something that comes across my phone, or email, and it's like, 5 ways to improve your skincare. And I thought, okay, that's great. 5 ways, they've got it right, because we like numbers. That kind of motivates us, meaning we don't have to do all this stuff and read all this stuff. So I click on that, and it's like, I have to watch this video and I have to fill out this form, and it takes me here and I'm going to forget it. I'll never trust that again, right? Your call to action followed by what's in it for them. It's got to be right there. Either when they click on it, or either, you let them know if they attend, if they do this is how it's going to benefit them. We got to separate features from benefits. Unfortunately, it's outside the scope of this session today to get into that at a deeper level. Okay, Wednesdays and Thursdays, great day to have your webinars, the best day statistically. 10, like I said, 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. 60 minutes seems to have the greatest RSVPs, registrations for a webinar, and they stay on basically about 57 minutes. What's important for us operationally is, once we do a webinar, we need to look at, where did they drop off, right? Where did they drop off? And when we study this, right, say, okay, that was a great webinar. We started, with 25, but we ended with 10. I'd want to know where in that time that we had that they drop off, because that tells me something. That tells me I lost them there. This is where I need to bring in benefits. This is what's in it for you. How is it going to improve whatever it is, whatever that might be, whomever your target audience is, right? Because what's it worth to you and what the value is differs from person to person, organization to organization, as well. We can't assume, right? Everybody has the same motivation at that time in their life cycle, or in a business, in their business cycle. So you get a whole bunch of RSVPs, right? But only 50% of them attend. But, you are still going to manage those 25 that did not attend, meaning you're going to increase your interaction with them as well, because you said something, you did something that interests them. So you're going to send them the link, right? And you're going to notice that you're sending the link to others, and you're going, wow, a lot of people are clicking on the link. They are clicking on the link. So that's a great thing. I would look at that, and then I would study and say, okay, all these people clicked on the link. Now that it's an on demand, right? It's not live, but that doesn't mean that they like on demand better. It was just more convenient for them. This is where you look at, when did you offer it, and at what time of day, right? So knowing your target audience, maybe a lot of them work during the day, right? If a lot of adult learners. And so you want to see, okay, maybe it would have been better if we offered at 6:30 or 6 p.m. or 7, whatever that might be. Holly, you got something?
Yeah, we just have two comments in the chat. Rachel Ann said, become a peer educator at our workshop and get a bonus. Gino followed up with this program, you can help your students reach their human right to reach financial security by working in a career they love while living their ideal lifestyle.
Right. So love that. Gino, that follow-up was just fantastic. You know, financial security, that's a hot button. How we engage an audience is understanding what is relevant right now with our target audience and how to solve their pain point. So as Gino was saying, financial security, that target audience is going to be attracted to that, their financial security, right? That's going to change their stars. It's going to do all these other feature type stuff to them. And then the bonus, you know, let's define what that bonus is, right? In our other comment, bonus is a feature, it's something, but what is the bonus? Attract me unless your target audience knows that bonus means something, right? So some benefit of some sort. Okay, so that's really good. I got a few more minutes with you, so I want to look at registrations. So make your registrations for your target audience really simple. Because what tends to happen, right? I think this has happened to all of us. We are excited. We see this. Oh, this is interesting. This piqued my interest. There's a value proposition for me. So I'm making an expense calculation in my mind, and everybody does that, right? Is it going to be worth my time? Okay, yeah, I think so, for sure. So I click on it and I go into the registration page, and it's convoluted, right? Doesn't seem to match the benefits that I'm going to derive, learn, you know, attending this webinar. It's just, it's asking me for everything. The name of my firstborn child. I mean, everything. So make it as simple as possible. So that's another metric for you to look at, right? Where did they click? So they clicked on the registration link, but they did not complete the registration form. Right? This is for continuous improvement. This will help us also operationally to see, where is that disconnect? They were interested. We captured their interests. They clicked on the link, but then we lost them. Right? That's another way to look at it. And don't get discouraged when you are, you know, sending out your invites, let's say, you know, to attend a webinar, and you're not seeing that many RSVPs. Well, 59% of them tend to happen the first, a week out, right? A week before it starts. And then from that 59%, another 17 to 20% happen within the next 24 to 48 hours. So don't get discouraged, you know, on all of this. The point is to always increase your interaction. That's the goal here. What are you doing to increase your interaction? Because as we know in our personal lives, right, that we become more engaged, closer to maybe our significant other, our best friends, our neighbors when we first met them, when we increase our interaction with them. So find ways to increase your interaction. And there's Gina with all those great comments. Hi, Gina. All that. Holly, you got your hand up?
I do. So Kim said, we also send a reminder the day before and the morning of the event. Mm-hmm. And Rachel Ann said, you mentioned 10 to 11 a.m. on Tuesdays. What about across time zones? Many of our students travel.
Mm-hmm. So great question. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, by the way, not just Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Business U is a nationally accredited organization. We're based out of California. Southern California. And we teach every day of our lives. And we are across all time zones, including, you know, Canada, which is on the Eastern time zone, and other countries. So I get the time zone thing. So you have to look at it that way. You have to look at what is in between. So at Business U, I work off the Pacific Standard Time Zone, because that's where we're located. And it's still doable from all the research we've done internally. So it's, you know, if it's 10 o'clock here, it's 1 o'clock Eastern time zone, right? It's 11 o'clock Mountain time zone. It's 12 o'clock Central time zone. So I will keep it, and you guys are all in the Pacific Standard time zone from what I, you know, from where you are. So I would stick with that for yours. Start at 10 to 11. And those individuals might be on a lunch break, so it works out as well across time zone. Great question.
And
Holly?
Christine, what about for evening times?
Mhm.
What's best for a webinar in the evening?
Again, it depends on your target audience, right? On your target audience. So here, I'm assuming you're talking about learners. This is going to be your target audience. I would do it as just like the experts do it when there's a big announcement from politically, right? From the president's going to speak, or there's another major event. Usually, right, it's based at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. our time, Pacific Standard Time. So 6 p.m. And you'll notice that's when all the marketers start calling you as well. So they've done all that research for you, right? Duplicate what the experts are doing. Any other questions to have? Anybody want to come on? I know that was a lot of information in 20 minutes.
I'm not getting any more in the chat.
You're not getting any more? Okay, so I'm going to spend, if you don't mind, Holly, I'd like to say one more thing.
Sure.
And that's to talk about free. The word free and no cost. Business Use specializes in the public sector and education system, in workforce development and education, right? And what we focus on is engagement. That's our focus. We've been incorporated in 2014. We're accredited by ISET. All right. The reason I'm saying this is because in both systems, education and workforce development, we use the word free and no cost all the time. I'd like you to consider, now keep your target audience in mind on what's relevant for them at that time, right? In their life cycle, where they're at, what's in it for them. But when we say the word free, it tends to psychologically devalue our services, right? So think about that for you. When you hear, oh, this is free, does something conjure up in your mind that, is that going to mean, is it less than, it's not as valuable, especially if other people are selling in the marketplace some of what you're doing and offering. If these individuals would have to buy this thing somewhere else, right? Does it devalue what you're doing when we're saying free or no cost? Again, I'm going to say, know your target audience, where they are, what's relevant, right? What's their pain point? But let's not just say it. So let's say we do say it, right? Let's say we're talking to an employee because we want to get our learners into internships or work-based. That's a whole other conversation we could have. But let's say we do say it, right? And go, oh no, I shouldn't say free or no cost to an employer because they could, they automatically think it's not as valuable, or there's too much paperwork, or it's going to take too much of our time. Something, nothing's for free. And our veterans on this webinar right now can tell you nothing is for free, right? So they're going to think of something. So what I go up, regardless of your target audience, why it's free for them, why you selected them, right? Make it feel exclusive, because that will bring value to what you do. Okay, because what you do is very valuable. I was once an adult learner many years ago. So I want to thank you for the work that you do. I got my GED. I went on to all the other degrees and then got my doctorate from UCLA, but it wasn't without the help of all of the work that all of you do. So I really want to thank you. I then became, my first teaching thing was teaching ESL and AV, adult basic education. So many decades ago. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. Holly, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you. Kim had mentioned that this conference was free, but that because of that, they were able to send more staff, which benefit more from the learning.
Yes.
Someone said, I like to tell students adult school is not free, but currently the state is offering to pay for their education, but they have to take the CASAS test. Anthony, this is a great point. We find that if people do not have skin in the game, they are less likely to attend the class. So that's what we have right now. I want to just show, it's going to be really quick, and I think you guys all know this, but just to make sure, go to the conference homepage, click on chat, scroll down here to Business U, and you will find the way to chat with Christine, a meaningful communication with her. She turns those names over to us. You get 750 points for every meaningful communication with our exhibitors. It's a way to rack up points to get on the leaderboard. Like we said, Christine did donate 2 scholarships to the Business U program, as well as a $250 Amazon gift card. I'm a little bummed I can't win that because I feel like I should own stock in Amazon at this point.
Especially today, it's down.
Yeah, I may have to look at that. Yes. So, and Kim said we also share that the CASAS pre and post test is what keeps their class free. So that's a good way to get them, to take those tests and that. So Christine, thank you so much for presenting this morning. We truly appreciate it. Participants, this is day 4 of the summit. You are almost done. I hope this has been a great experience for you. I am going to go ahead. I've put the evaluation link in the chat for everyone for this session. But I'm also going to drop the chat for the overall summit evaluation. Please let us know your feedback, how we can change this for next year. What would you like to see different? What's going well and you want to keep? Next year, we plan to be in person. Hopefully, Christine, you'll be able to join us in person next year. Location and dates to be announced. We're working through some contracts. That's all we have. So with that, I think that we will go ahead and close this out and let everyone get to their next session.
Well, thank you, Holly. You've worked so hard throughout this whole conference and with me before setting this up. So thank you, Holly, for everything. You guys have done an amazing job, and I just support all your work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Everyone.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye, Gina.